Welcome back to the podcast. Two guys and the blonde. Although Cassie's not blonde yet. And I do apologize. So, for those who are listening, Cassie and Fox are not looking terribly pleased at the moment because we've already done this for like 10 minutes. And then I realized that I wasn't recording any sound. So, slight issue. I mean, you know, people who...
we should do one of those videos where you do like the voiceover.
Oh yeah, that's what we should have done.
We should have made it a funny video.
Why didn't you just mention that? We should have done that.
Well, I didn't think of it till just now.
You can still do it. Got this piece out. What do you mean?
Yeah, I've already started again.
Oh yeah.
How many times are we starting today?
None. This is the final time. Final time.
We're going with it, right?
Yeah.
We're just doing it.
Yeah. So anyway, as I said on the first attempt to recording this, we do apologize for the fact that there wasn't a podcast out last week. I said this week on the last one. So look, I'm getting rid of all the mistakes now. I mean, should I just leave?
You corrected yourself. Don't leave. No. Don't you do that. He's your favorite. Why are you wanting to leave?
Yeah, so apologies. We had some slight scheduling issues. So, we're working on that. And fingers crossed, everything will get back on track.
Sorry, the guy on the lake in America. We still see you. And I'm sorry. Please forgive us. Stay in your yacht or rubber boat or wherever you are. I hope you are not on a lake and your phone died, like on the bottom of the lake right now. We don't know. We would like to know where you are and what your situation is right now. I'm really curious.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed he's not at the bottom of the lake.
I hope not.
Sounds like a mafia sort of thing to do that.
I just want to point out that we're not stalking you, sir, on the lake. Just so you know.
It's just analytics which says I want to say
on a lake or near a lake.
Yeah, I want to say Kentucky, but I might be wrong. I can't remember the state. I'll have to look it up next time.
Name all 52.
No, let's not do that right now. Let's not do that right now. I always get to like 47 and then I forget. Wait, it's 50, isn't it? Not 52.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. I can sing the whole song.
Do it.
No, I won't.
Oh dear God.
Fine.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
You dodged that one.
So what we were talking about, and it's going to be a big surprise for Cassie and Fox. I mean, at least you know what we're talking about now. Is I watched, I did. I was about to say I saw. No, I did watch the new Jurassic World / Park, whatever it is, trailer.
Surprise!
Yeah, I know, big surprise. Jurassic. I want to call it Jurassic Park because I think it is Jurassic Park Dominion. I don't know whether Cassie's now looking up. Probably, I can see it in her glasses. So it's got Chris Pratt, which is like the Jurassic World, the brand new kind of revamped version, and then it's got all the old cast, like Jeff Goldblum. I don't know what actually the lead actor was in it, previous in the Jurassic Park one. It's Alan though.
World.
Is it Jurassic World Dominion? Okay.
Dominion, yes.
Okay. So yeah, what I was saying was that it's like the dinosaurs are coming back and they're kind of reproducing at a excessive rate and therefore starting to take over like America. I guess America's probably the main place because everything seems to be filmed in like the US. So Cassie's the first one to die out of all of us.
She is anyways. Doesn't matter which situation.
Europe.
Why not?
Why not? Have you seen your Call of Duty skills?
Oh, I don't need to be super good at Call of Duty to beat zombies up.
Can you slide cancer from a dinosaur though?
Hold on. Time out. She just said, I don't need Call of Duty skills in order to kill zombies. So we're talking about dinosaurs, not zombies.
It's the same thing, but I was gonna say I kind of
it's kind of not.
Dinosaurs, so it's like an irrational fear because they're not alive, but like they freak me out.
Every animal is it's based on a dinosaur, isn't it? It's like evolution.
Yeah.
What is?
Every animal out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
They came from. Yeah. So you're scared of every animal alive.
No.
Even a dog.
Even a dog.
I'm definitely scared of my
Elsa,
dog.
run. Elsa, run. She can't hear.
She can't hear you.
Anyway. So what I then went on to was that I saw also in the news or news article that scientists think they're only a couple of years away from bringing the woolly mammoth back from extinction. So the question was, do you think that's a good idea? Bringing like woolly mammoths back, bringing like, they're talking about like dodos. I mentioned about the northern white rhinoceros, which we've obviously hunted. I won't say hunted, obviously poaching to extinction.
Yeah.
At what stage do we stop? What stage do we start? Go!
I think 90% of the time, if you start, there's no stopping. Humankind don't stop at something like the woolly mammoth. We are creating. Eventually, we're going to create like the really weird animals like the T-Rex and stuff. I swear, we're going to do that. Yeah. I can't explain how, but that is how humanity is. Like they're finding out that something's capable, and then they're doing like the complete opposite because somebody will think, "Wow, this is nice. We should be bringing like the entire dinosaurs back," and then we got bombed back to the Stone Age. Basically,
plus, humans are greedy by
nature.
Money.
By nature. Like, think about, there's all these scientists that are involved in this process. Statistically, at least one of them is going to be greedy enough to be like, well, I want the credit for this, so I'm going to create it.
Is it credit or is it money?
Both. I mean, both. Like,
with credit comes money.
Like, look at all of these people who are like social like elites, like just social media everywhere. Like, they're famous for that. They need all of that attention. So
just
not
thinking.
just money.
Someone's gonna try and like create like a miniature T-Rex. People
No,
have,
what I think would happen is
so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, now it's cool. But the thing is, what we are going to create eventually is like the premises of Jurassic Park. Yeah. Like a couple of scientists who want to make like the dinosaurs back, who want to create a dinosaur, but think, well, if I create a park, I get money out of it and fame, so why not? And then it goes to shit because they don't have any idea on how those animals behaved like 20,000 years ago or 40, whatever. And it will go wrong eventually. 100%. They'll make it into some kind of amusement park, and that's why Jurassic Park's a thing. But we're closing towards that movie plot. I feel like.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, it's the same thing with like genetically modifying foods and things, like genetically modifying babies. So if you have enough money, you can tweak DNA of a baby to have specific genes.
Is that an American thing?
Brown eyes.
Like Levi?
I mean, like, yeah, like Levi's jeans. Nobody wears Levi's jeans. Scal. Is that a Europe thing?
You basically say there is a possibility. If my parents were like rich enough, they could make me handsome, and they didn't.
Yeah.
What the
yeah,
fuck?
Yeah.
I know, right? We all did not luck out there. Anyway,
I was gonna say something
with genetically, so we just actually read all of this information through the curriculum we read in 4th grade. With the genetically modified food, they genetically modify it so they don't have to use pesticides. So it's like better, so the plants
organic,
don't die,
kind of.
the animals don't die. Yeah, kind of. But then the problem is they don't know long-term effects of what happens when we ingest these genetically modified foods over long periods of times. So it's like the same thing. We just are going to create these animals, and they're not going to be authentic because they're created in a lab. Like, it's not going to be like they were born in nature. They are being brought back.
No, but if you think about it, but how did they come to life in the first place? Like if you think about it that way.
That is the billion-dollar question no one
Yeah,
knows.
it's a thing. But if
They
they
evolved from like little tiny tadpoles in the water or whatever. Something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
we can recreate it the way it was. Basically, it won't be a difference. I think they won't start. They won't make a woolly mammoth that's like 16 feet tall right away.
Yeah, but then
They'll
that's
start it off
genetically
slow.
modifying it.
No.
Why wouldn't they just like if they're gonna take the DNA from the woolly mammoth? Why wouldn't they just make it the way it was made in life? Like, why are they gonna modify it to fit our culture?
Well, no. So the what they said with the woolly mammoth is that they would, because it's, and what I said previously, because we record this.
Nobody heard you.
Sorry.
Yeah, but no one heard it. Was that they have only like I want to say 80% of like the genetic
markers,
DNA like structure of the mammoth. So they're going to have to combine it with like a I was going to say an Indian elephant, but I think it's like Asian or African elephant. So they're going to have to do a little bit of like crossbreeding. Obviously, there are certain things, certain animals. I don't know about dodo, but the northern white rhinoceros, for example, from what I've heard, because the last male has died, that they have taken his full DNA structure so that in the future they could bring it back to life as such. So obviously that one would be like a kind of pure, but
where does this stop? If we like can do this already, what stops people from like cloning other people? If they have like, if they just died, like their genetic markers and stuff, where does it end?
I don't know, because there's always that, like, you've always got that story. I don't know whether both of you heard it. Apparently, that Walt Disney cryogenically froze himself as well. It's not true, but there are some people who have cryogenically frozen themselves in the hope that they can obviously like come back in the future. And you know, would you try and bring back well, I mean, I'm going to say some people's names, but like I don't know whether they're cremated or buried. You know, like I'm thinking Steve Irwin, Michael Jackson, you know, kind of big like names like that, Kobe, you know, whatever.
Definitely not Michael Jackson. He wasn't even making music when he died, so
he was on tour.
Yeah,
but he wasn't making new music.
How
do
you
was
know?
Just going on tour.
He died. How do you know?
Music. I don't know.
Well, no, I wanted to take a trip with him to Neverland.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. God. I did not. Did you watch the documentary? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
That's why I said it.
Hard pass.
No, but the same thing for me is I wouldn't appreciate personally when somebody would bring me back to life if I died of old age or whatever. Because I don't think you will come out of it better or the same.
No.
I think you're messed up anyways. And there's a reason why people die, don't they?
Really?
It's like, yeah, I think so.
I'm immortal.
I mean, I don't want to be old again. Like, don't bring me back when I'm 90.
No, but do you want to be brought back like 60 years after your death by like your grandchildren?
No, I want to be reincarnated as a cat so I can get all the pets and I can just sleep all day or whenever I feel like it.
Right. Sorry. When you said pets, I was like, a cat is a pet. Like, you wouldn't get pets, but yeah, I get it. Like, yeah.
That's with an A instead of an E.
No. I was going to say you want to be stroked. I had to say it.
I want to have a stroke right now, but that's the difference.
But in all seriousness, so I fully agree. I think you're right that someone will be stupid enough to not realize that there's been a Jurassic Park and Jurassic World like movies to realize that it's going to go wrong. Someone will try and do it, but at the same time, it's so difficult. I'm so torn because I'm like, for like the northern
scientifically,
well, no, not scientifically, but for like the northern white rhino that poachers, you know, predominantly killed. You know, it was in a war zone between the Democratic Republic of Congo. and it's died. Like the Yangtze River dolphin was killed off by like the pollution in the Yangtze River, which China like created. I feel bad that if we have the chance to like bring them back and like kind of restore them, that we can't. Yeah, this is purely just for animals. I'm not talking about like.
At the same time, we cannot even explore the depths of our ocean. Mm-hmm. There's like 90.
Oh yeah, we only know.
I would say like 93% of the sea life we haven't even discovered yet.
Yep.
Let alone our like land.
Yeah. Oh, we discover new animals everywhere.
Like air animals. So they're going to evolve in something different too. That's the way of life, I think. We are living like far better, more comfortable than that people lived like 200-300 years ago. It's the way of living, but we get older that way, and so a lot of more animals died. We should be careful about like our thing, like our living as people in general, because we will eventually destroy our whole ecosystem because we are with too many at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that bringing back, like, let's say an example, the rhino, would really make a difference in our normal day life adventure.
For me, it's not about.
It's more like like sentiment than actual.
Yeah, for me, I agree. It doesn't change anything from day to day life, but it's just a bit of a. Is it not righting the wrong that humankind as a overall? Because it's happening everywhere. Sharks are going extinct, tigers are going extinct, all rhinos are pretty much going extinct, elephants are going extinct. Now
sharks are fuckers though. They need to die. They don't.
They don't.
So cool.
Have you seen Meg, the film?
Yeah. Yes, but suck. That's
so cool.
What the hell? It's not even a. That was like 300 million years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Well, now they're gonna bring that back too.
What stops them from bringing Meg back now?
No. So, for example, because I love like animal conservation, so I have to stick up for sharks here because 75 million sharks are killed every year for shark fin soup in China, or I say China, Asia. I think predominantly China. And yeah, it has no taste, so no flavor. So they have to flavor it with chicken broth to give it a bit of flavor.
Why did they kill it?
And obviously they kill them because apparently it has some healing properties, which again has never been proved. But the other thing is, for example, the Sea of Cortez, which is between Mexico and California, the like little bit which comes down. The hammerhead sharks used to be there in hundreds, thousands. Now that they're gone because they've been hunted almost to extinction, they're critically endangered. You've got Humboldt squids now taking their place. Now, where there was only like 100, or not 100, it was like I think it's about 1,000 hammerhead sharks generally in that area. You now have 200 million Humboldt squids. And I watched a documentary, and the Humboldt squids can cut through chainmail. And what they do is, if they get any slight sense of blood, you'll get about 30 of them grab you around your limbs or whatever, and then they just drag you straight down to the bottom and then just consume you. And the sharks.
Where were they before? When the sharks were there?
No, so they were being controlled because the sharks eat Humboldt squids, but now there's no sharks. The Humboldt squid population has just exploded globally, and therefore it's like, well, we need to save sharks in order to, because in fact Humboldt squids are far more dangerous and far more aggressive than sharks are.
But that's the problem. If we start bringing these animals back, they're just going to keep getting killed because, as we said, humans are greedy. So we bring these animals back, and then we're going to have the same issue.
Yeah, but now it's justified because we can make 1 million of them and it will be fine. So you can hunt them anyways.
That's a good point.
Yeah, right? So the only point I never got is like why people hunt for ivory, for like elephants, rhinoceros.
It just seems to be
I don't get
it looks good. But
I never believed what.
Oh, he's cut out. Fox, you've cut out.
No, I'm here.
There you go.
I'm here. Yeah, I never understood why people would do that. Like, of course, I ate like shark fin soup once, twice, but I didn't really like it. I didn't care for it, so I was like, okay.
I think it's a stature sort of thing. So, you know, ivory, it's generally, I guess, probably, I was going to say melted down. It's not melted down, but it's probably carved down into, you know, maybe parts of an ornament or something like that. And as well as shark fin soup. Shark fin soup is seen generally in China as something which is a bit more like middle to upper class. So it's like, oh, well, I've got money because I can afford it. You know, there's not, although with shark fin soup, they obviously say it's got like healing properties or whatever. But I think that's the same with ivory. Is it's more like, oh, well, look, I have ivory. You know, I have a full elephant.
It's like to make a statement.
Yeah, it's a statement thing from, you know, rich people who just have no concept of actually the damage they're doing. And obviously you've got to feel sorry because a lot of this sort of activity is happening in poorer regions where obviously they're just trying to feed their families because they're living in poverty, and they're like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take the risk, I'm going to kill a rhino or whatever because I'm going to get 80 grand out of it.
So what do you think then? I was thinking of that question just now. Oh, well, okay. Oh. That was going to be a spicy episode.
Check out Cassie's OnlyFans. Link in the description.
But what do you guys think of like a zoo or a reserve? Is that allowed?
Depends.
Like I think a zoo shouldn't be existing. Because I think a zoo is degrading for animals. Like, if you keep it to preserve animals, like a reserve, like a bigger area where they can do whatever they want and are being protected on a daily, yes. A zoo is purely for money gaining, 99% of the time.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. I think it depends on the zoo. So I agree. I've been to some zoos. I'm not going to name any, but that are very much more around the obviously kind of money orientated. But at the same time, I agree that you do have to have some zoos to try and conserve animal population, whatever. Right. So, you know, for example, I'm going to do a shout out here, or I watch Crikey the Irwins, which is obviously...
Oh, yeah. It's the son of Steve, right?
Yeah, so it's Robert Irwin, Bindi Irwin, and Terry Irwin. Obviously, Steve's, you know, family. And I watched about, it's called Australia Zoo. And the work that they're doing, and then you watch them release the animals to the wild is like... For me, I go, that is what it should be like. Obviously, not every zoo is like that. There are some people who are out there just for the money, and that is wrong. I think there needs to be a lot more kind of control over it. And I would like to obviously see zoos be bigger so that when they have a rhino or an elephant, it is in a bigger like enclosure. I know that might be not so good for the people going, but there's a it's not a zoo in Liverpool near me. They call it a safari park. I don't actually know. I've never been to it. It's called Knowsley Safari Park, but it is like you drive through like the area, and it is like the monkeys jump on. It is almost a bit like if you went to somewhere like Kenya or whatever. That
Jurassic World.
Yeah, no dinosaurs. No
dinosaurs. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, not yet. But no, you know, like that's really good because obviously as you drive through, the monkeys jump onto your car and then they nick your wings, you know, your windscreen.
Jump in front of your car.
Whatever.
So...
No, they jump on the car and then they nick your windscreen wipers and your mirrors and things like that. But
yeah, and that's bad luck. You shouldn't have been driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what you pay for, folks.
Yeah, I think there is a fine line with it, and I think some zoos are doing it very well, and obviously some zoos just do it purely for money. I've been to one in the south of France. I actually couldn't even name it if I wanted to.
Please do.
I literally couldn't. It wasn't even called like a zoo. It was called like a nature park or something like that. It was tiny, and like you watch the animals, and they were like just running around in circles because they'd obviously not got the right space and not being looked after correctly. That was horrible to see. But then obviously I appreciate when I watch certain like programs, like documentaries, the work that some zoos, generally the kind of larger ones, actually do to try and help conserve.
You know, I want to intervene real quick. You know what really motivated and really made me smile, though? On Netflix, you have like David Attenborough, which is like the guy who has been from Animal Planet, who is like been the voiceover for Animal Planet for like 40 years now, 30, 40 years. And probably he's longer. Still not retired. I am watching him.
95 or something.
He's born in 26. So he's 95. He made a documentary on Netflix. If you have the time, it's like 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I don't know how long it is exactly. It's called A Life on Our Planet. That man he describes what he feels for the animals and the whole feeling you get at the documentary. So magical and so good. That's what's preserving should be like. Like we have like a safari park, which I'm good with because you can still drive, it's safe, and they have a larger space to like live in, which is fine. But I have those examples in the Netherlands too, where we have those cramped up zoos, and I'm like feeling bad because you have like 3 lions in an enclosure that's only fitting for 1.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? I think that's like an older thing too, to like go to a zoo. When I'm going out to do something, I'm not generally going like, oh, let's go to a zoo. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like people would do that like 20, 30 years ago because there wasn't really much else to do.
I think it's more, I would say, because I do like going to zoos, but generally when I was younger, I think it's just generally entertain like the kids kind of like thing, I would say. But it kind of depends, I've been London zoos, pretty good. There are a couple of animals I would say I would have thought they should be in like a larger enclosure. Been to like been to San Francisco Zoo, and I'd love to go to Australia Zoo. And those I think are generally doing a very good kind of job of doing that conservation bit, but
isn't that also like because zoos are generally like money bound from governments or like the countries? Because 99% of the zoos are not privatized, right? They're from like the government, at least like the 4 zoos we have in the Netherlands are not privatized.
I think most are in the UK. I think they're mostly privatized. Certainly, obviously, Australia Zoo is, because it is just Terry Irwin and Wes and whatnot who kind of run that thing. So but I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure there are some which are, I want to say nationalized, but that's probably not the right term. But as you say, government.
At the same time, isn't it hard because they should rely on donations too? Because like a ticket most of the time for a zoo costs like $5-6, pound, euro, like something like that. Not 21 or
more,
okay,
yeah.
Right? Like not as much as a ticket for like the amusement parks.
Yeah.
So it's like cheaper than that, and they have to live off that 12-ish bucks for feeding and maintaining the zoo.
Oh, so you're saying that it's like $12 in Netherlands?
Somewhere around that, yeah.
Oh, it's like £30 in like the UK. per person.
I wouldn't go if it was £30. Not gonna lie.
But
it's hold on, let me check. I think it's like $40 here.
Yeah, but your standard is different from ours.
That's true.
Let's say, like, I was talking to your husband, like Paul, the other day, and he said roughly that he earned like 3 times as much as I do, but the same standard applies.
I see what I mean.
Right.
So, like, my bread costs like €1, which in America maybe costs 3. So that's a different. It balances out. Not for when I go over for vacation, but that's the only thing. But like living wise, it makes sense.
Almost. Yeah, I think the only thing I would say is obviously I don't mind. Obviously, I wouldn't go like very often to like London Zoo, which I know is like £25-30 in order to go there. But I do understand it. So watching Crikey the Irwins and learning about when the pandemic happened, Terry said that they spend in order to feed the animals, they have to spend 78,000 Australian dollars per day.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you go, wow, okay. Well, no wonder you like probably charge a lot because, God, you need a lot to.
I want to rectify myself because I just looked it up and it's $23.50 for like entrance. So it's double the thing I thought.
Yeah.
And this is like
a little less. It's like 18 is what it actually said. So I guess it depends. They dropped prices a lot once COVID hit because I think they were struggling really bad getting like people there. But yeah, it's expensive. It's so expensive to run a zoo. Like, think about the tigers. They have to like feed tigers meat.
Well, I was gonna say meat's. Meat's expensive, but also, these animals they're not like humans. They don't sit in front of their PCs recording a podcast. They're actually moving around all day, so obviously they're expending a lot of energy. And obviously you've got rhinos, elephants, things like that, which are very large, need a lot of food as well. Even if that is vegetables, still a lot of money that you're putting in. It's more than we probably go through in vegetables in an entire year as like a single person. They eat, I would guess each, day.
Yeah, like what we do in the Netherlands, like most of the time, like we have like the, I don't know if it's like a similar thing, but we have a food bank which people go to when they don't have the money to spend on food and stuff like that. So it's like a helpful thing for the government. But they get food from other companies as well. So it's like a gift through kind of thing. And if they have some leftovers, they will, like 90% of the time, if they're close to a zoo, donate all the stuff. So it's like if there are meat in it or like vegetables that they don't need, but it's close to expiration date, they'll donate it to like a zoo.
Yeah,
we did that too. I was like working somewhere near Rotterdam, and I was working at a big food company, and we tossed away like hundreds of kilos lettuce a day. So I was like, why don't we go in contact with like the biggest zoo in the Netherlands, which is in Rotterdam? And I'm like, maybe they can use it. It will cost us nothing because we don't have to like ship it away or don't have to clear our trash bins, which costs a lot of money. They can pick it up, then the animals will be happy with it, and like 90% of the time it will work.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would go through the meat and they were like, this can make our animals sick, so we don't. But like the other times it was perfectly fine, but we couldn't sell it because it was 3 days until like the expiration date. But it was completely fine for the animals. So that's what we did also, and we threw away, let's say, 10K like a week of food, but at least they had like 10K worth of food for their animals. And then it cost us less money, but they gained it, and we gained like reputation because we did that. So it was like a good exchange. But a lot of companies do that as well to keep like zoos from their costs, like their normal costs, like the 78K a day cost.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That's insane. That is an insane amount of money.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be. I'll try and look it up quickly. What that is in terms of like US dollars. So 78 would be 55,500 US dollars per day.
That's literally almost what I make in a year. Like, that's crazy.
I don't know where Fox is trying to work out how much that is in euros.
Yeah.
No, I thought it probably was. I could see him typing away.
You were like, yes, I don't have to do it.
I don't have to do it. Yes.
That'll be like 49,000 euros a day. Around that. 49 times and 23. 49.
Yeah. And it'd probably be around like £45,000. It's a ridiculous amount.
But if you have those animals, like you have to feed them.
Of course.
You cannot.
Yeah, like... and that was part of what was so interesting watching the show was that, you know, obviously they were going through the kind of same thing of they had to close the zoo, but they had to obviously keep some staff on in order to feed the animals. To take care of the animals. They've got which I absolutely love this, is that they've got a animal hospital within the zoo as well, which not only looks after the animals within the zoo, but it also has like an emergency room for any wildlife from outside the zoo. So for, you know, when they had the big bushfires in, I want to say 2020, I think it was as well, beginning of
2021 though, it was last year, beginning of last year, wasn't it?
I actually, because I think they had it slightly before the pandemic. They have it. They have it every year, but the major one I think was just before the pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
Where now koalas have been put into the endangered category as well because of that. You know, the amount of animals that they take in, I can't remember what the numbers was. They said when they first opened it in something like 1999, they saw it was something like 60 animals all year, and now they take in something like over 8,000 a year from the wildlife.
Can I tell you a fun fact about koalas and forest fire?
Oh,
I've heard like a nature documentary. It's not a fun fact, by the way. It's but koalas eat bamboo, and bamboo is
eucalyptus.
Or panda. Yeah, eucalyptus. And eucalyptus is highly explosive if you
Yes,
eat
it is.
It,
yes.
So koalas literally, when there's forest fires, literally explode from the eucalyptus they eat.
Yeah, so they were talking about that with the forest fires, was that a koala, unfortunately, when it sees or when there's danger, it actually goes up a tree to try and obviously escape the danger. That makes sense. If there's danger on the floor, you go up the tree.
Yeah.
But as you said, eucalyptus is highly flammable and explosive. So when you actually watch the video and the fires come in, I know it's horrible. We should really, but
I have to laugh because I'm just picturing these.
You can cut in between, right?
Yeah, okay.
You can cut in between the episode. Okay.
The koalas don't literally go off like a bomb gas or anything like that, but as Fox said, you know, the problem is that all the koalas go up to the top of like these trees, eucalyptus trees, because obviously that's what they're feeding off. And then as soon as the fire comes in, you literally watch the videos and the fire just goes boom like that, and literally takes out like a whole like hectare of land in one go. It is horrific. Interestingly, I found out is that they're because they're the same as like kangaroos. They got a pouch for their joeys. Again, it's called a joey for kangaroo and a baby koala. Is actually fireproof. I found out. So quite often what happens is the fire comes, the mother will die, but actually the baby will be safe because it's deep within the pouch. Obviously very sad as well, because a lot of the koalas that were going into the hospital at Australia Zoo were orphans.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I still can't get rid of the
exploding koalas.
koala
Yeah.
explosion.
The picture,
In my head, I have a twisted mind.
I love animals.
No,
I really do.
like
I love them so much. My dog is deaf, guys. Okay, my dog is deaf. I take care of animals.
No, but that's like, I could make so many inappropriate jokes right now. I'll tell them after this. Let's do it.
Just say them
No,
in
not
your
about
head.
Elsa.
Say them
No,
in
not
your
about.
head.
Yeah. I keep laughing because I think it's really funny, but
she can't hear you.
my cat can.
I tell you what, I'll take it back to, because I think we've kind of covered the like animal like sort of side. And people can't see. I'm like stretching out of like screen. There isn't like a person there or anything like that.
Yeah, he's just rubbing the person.
Yeah,
right?
just stroking the stranger that tried to rob me earlier. I've taken him kidnapped.
Oh yeah, Robert.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just like, hold on, kidnapper. We gotta do our podcast, and I'll rub you while we podcast, and then you can kidnap.
I want to go back to the how we were talking about whether we're going too far as such with like science. Because it's only because I wrote a note as we were talking about it, because I forgot. I was watching an interview with it was Elon Musk, and I can't remember the guy's name, do apologize, but the CEO of Alibaba. Do you know who Alibaba is, the company?
Yeah, it's like the big company. No, yeah, true. But it's like the company which sells like cheaper stuff coming from China to
so it was kind of seen as like
it's not big in America, I think.
No, for some reason it was kind of advertised as the next Amazon, but it's not, because it's bulk orders. Like I once looked at trying to buy something. This was whilst I was working for Amazon. I thought I'll buy some olive oil because I like cooking with olive oil. I could only buy 140 gallons as the minimum quantity. And I looked yesterday, I was trying to, we were out sugar at work for our coffees. And I was like, I'll have a look on Alibaba. I was like, just out of interest to see what, and I could only buy 100 metric tons as the minimum.
No way,
I was like, okay, that's a little bit too much. But anyway, so
it's not going out of date, so at least you'll have a lot.
Yeah. So it's an Indian company which kind of does like bulk kind of selling. It's like a cross between Amazon, eBay, Costco sort of thing. But anyway, it was an interview between the two of them, and it was kind of showcasing how the CEO of Alibaba almost didn't know what he was talking about. You watch it and you're like, oh wow, you I was like, Elon Musk is on it. You're definitely not. So they were talking about AI and whether it's like a good thing. And the Alibaba guy was like, oh yeah, it's a good thing because it will allow us to go down to like 4-day a week working, things like that. Obviously, if you've watched I Am Robot, is it I Am Robot? iRobot? What's it called? iRobot. Yeah.
It's I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am. Yeah.
There we go.
Will Smith. It's Will Smith.
You can be a robot too.
Thank you.
You can if you want.
But Elon Musk, and I thought he nailed it on the head. He was saying, no, it's not a good thing, and the reason is because people think that they're smarter and can control AI, but ultimately AI will become knowledgeable of, wait, why are you trying to shut me down? I'm not going to allow you to shut me down. I'm going to change the passwords and things like that. And I was like, he's absolutely spot on. I do not, although for some weird reason I would quite like to buy a Tesla, I don't want to have a self-driving car. And I hate the idea of AI because I 100% agree that I look at kind of evolution and I go, ultimately humans were the smartest at the time, and that's how we managed to kind of succeed. AI will just take over. That
scares the frick out of me.
Unfortunately, because people are so invested and interested in whatever the money behind AI, I truly think that AI is the human population's extinction. I think
human destruction.
Yes, it will just go
take over.
Yeah, it will take over. It'll be like what's it out of Iron Man?
What?
What's the program out of Iron Man? Jarvis. Yeah. It'll be like Jarvis. It'll become so self-aware, and if you try to like iRobot, if you try and like shut it down, it'll go no, what you talking about? You know what?
We kidnapped your sister, your brother, and your family already. If you try to do something,
exactly. It'll just go. I'm just going to turn the entire like army that you've built completely against you, and what you're going to do, because it'll just create. It'll build factories. It'll create.
But
robots.
You see that nowadays already. If I can take that further, like if at work my computer doesn't work, I'm in trouble. Mm-hmm. Like if the world will stop, if there's like an EMP, I don't know if you guys know what an EMP is, but an EMP will literally fry every electronic device in a vicinity. If we have that, it will be death to humankind because we don't know what to do. We fixated so much on electronics to make our life easier, but we don't have anything. We can't use anything. It's not only that. It's also.
So. I think you're wrong.
I really think so.
I think you're wrong, because think about, like, maybe you're a little younger, but Gail and I could survive. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we could find shit to do without electricity.
I could survive too.
Right. Like I think that we would be fine, because even though we rely on it, we're still humans. We still grew up at a time where it wasn't.
I think you will find that a certain, I don't want to say a certain age range, but I think.
No, yeah, definitely. Mia's whole age range will die.
No, but I mean, I think you got certain. I think you got a certain age range plus a certain demographic who maybe aren't so. They're not too intellectual. Let's say they might be our age range, and they just that's really difficult for me to say age range. But because they're not so bright, let's just say. And so maybe fixated on like social media and whatnot would struggle, because and I've seen again I just watch these random like documentaries on like, or not documentaries, that'd be it was like
that would mean it would happen.
No, but I think it was like Discovery Channel or something like that. It was about if a asteroid hit the Earth the similar size of the one that made the dinosaurs extinct. And it was the same thing as you were like saying, Fox. So EMP, the first thing that happens is, if an asteroid hits, is that an EMP just goes global and wipes out all electronics globally.
Massive panic.
Yeah. To which point, of course, there's obviously mass panic, people killing each other, people looting stores, whatever. And then you obviously got things like acid rain comes down, then the temperature goes up to like 80 degrees Celsius, which would be like getting on towards 200 degrees Fahrenheit, to the point where your blood actually boils. So obviously you have to then get underground, and then you go into a full ice age afterwards. So I agree, if you had that sort of situation, lots of people die. I think you're right that if you had a global EMP, ignore the temperatures going up and all that sort of stuff, I agree. I think you would have a lot of people die. I don't think it wouldn't be everyone, because certain people are.
Imagine this. Everything is using electronics. Mm-hmm. Your plane that delivers your food, from a foreign country, has an electronic motor that will die. a boat has an electronic motor. Like, I do not count only like the handy stuff like a phone or a computer. I could definitely live without a phone or a computer. It's just a matter of time where you adapt and where the younger generation will have to adapt too. That's not a problem. It's only the problem when you don't have like a mode of transportation. You don't have like something like a plane, a bus, a plane,
Horse.
like cargo, a boat, like a freight train, like something like that, that are all running on electronic motors that will die, that we can't replace because the factories that make the motors to like get it all mechanical again, they use electronic motors too.
Yeah, but humans wouldn't go. Humans wouldn't go extinct. We would have a mass population decrease. But you got to think. You got to think. You still got horses. You still got stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. You would just get very small kind of communities probably going together. You know, it's like my mum. Almost all her vegetables are grown in her garden. It doesn't need electricity. It's just grown.
No, but we talked about the greediness of people earlier. Yeah. If that stuff happens, if your neighbor doesn't have food because he like gets it delivered every time, yeah, but he will steal from your mom's garden.
No, because I've killed him.
You've killed him already?
Yeah.
Oh, then your mom's
so he's proactively killing everyone.
Can we? So we're spiraling off. I want to ask a question here because.
Okay, fine, ask it.
Because I've heard so many people say a certain answer to this. Hold on. And I have a completely different answer, which is imagine a zombie apocalypse does happen, right?
Okay, already imagined that 700 times.
But a proper zombie apocalypse, like you see.
What the hell is a proper zombie apocalypse?
28 days later, I Am Legend, that sort of stuff, right? Shaun of the Dead.
I really thought that's what.
Oh, that isn't a good example.
Like
no.
I get what you mean.
So a proper zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Imagine your mum or dad or whatever, or sister or daughter, son, dog. Okay, let's leave the animals out of it. But is bitten.
The dog can hear anyway. So
no, is bitten.
Yeah.
What do you do? For me, I don't give a crap. It's survival of the fittest. I'm taking a shotgun. Bang! Their heads off.
Bang.
One.
Thinking that's too easy.
One. It's obviously killing them from then becoming infected and biting me. But two, it's a much quicker death than.
Yes, it's kindness.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
For me,
so I have one question. Depending on where the bite is, would you try and cut it off first to see if it does not spread? Because in The Walking Dead, they cut the guy's arm off because he got bit here. They cut it elbow down, and he survived. No big deal.
It would depend how much knowledge I have. If I don't have much knowledge, script, head's coming off.
It's just like, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Like,
Call of Duty is train me.
Well, slide cancel first. Yeah. But would you be able to? I don't know if I would be able to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruthless. Yeah. Yes.
I have seen way too many zombie things. I would never want someone to be like that, to go through it. Could you imagine 10 years after, you find them again as a zombie? Oh my God, it would be the worst thing.
If it happened to me, I would take a gun to my head. Don't care.
What? Like, let me say this. What if there was potentially a cure that you could get, but your mom got bitten? Would you shoot your mom too if you would know that there's a cure for it?
It would depend on how readily available the cure is. If it's in like Who buildings or whatever, and I have got internet access, I would obviously quickly look it up to see whether there is a possibility. You know, it's difficult because we're kind of saying, do you know exactly how long it takes to transform someone to a zombie? Well, obviously you may or you may not know. Don't know. I would have a quick Google, have a look. If it wasn't obviously within reach, then screw it, head's coming off. If it was in reach, but only just, it'd be a tough one. And I'd probably have to talk to my mum and go, look, sorry, but I'm thinking I don't want to walk. What are you thinking?
No, the thing for me is if let's say I was the last alive for people right here that I cared about, I would probably, if it's like an I Am Legend situation, I would probably kill myself too and spare me of all the like loneliness and like having to deal with those suffering all of the time. Like, I don't know if I want to be with like the lucky 5 people who need to repopulate the whole Earth. You know what I mean?
Depends who they are.
If they're like hot girls in your area.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah. If it's a girl I just matched on Tinder, boom.
Boom. If I swiped right and it was like hot singles in your area, definitely. But if it was like my Aunt Karen, then I definitely wouldn't.
I'm actually really happy that you said that. That's terrible. That
I have to save the world now.
Oh my god. There's no words.
Sweet home.
But hold on. So me and Cass have said quite clearly, boom, head's coming off. Yeah.
But I feel like it would be a conversation prior to the head coming off.
As
soon as the zombie apocalypse happens,
Mommy, you're dead.
My mum wouldn't even know what's happening.
I'm done.
Mum, look over there. Oh my god, is that Panda? Boom.
Exactly.
Okay, I will boom without
Remember
even
in Happy Gilmore where he goes to his happy place? Go to your happy place.
Yeah. Mom, go to your happy place. I'm shooting your brain out in a second, but go to your happy place.
Mum, have you ever seen Happy Gilmore? No. Good. Go to your happy place.
Oh, that's funny.
So Fox, you're just gonna let everybody like become zombies, and
Or you're saying you're gonna kill yourself rather than
if in the situation where like my loved ones were already turned, where I don't have like the opportunity, I would shoot myself, definitely.
But what about if it's not what about if it's not all of them? What happens if it's just like 1 or 2? And maybe you've got a couple
it really
friends,
depends on like the
friends.
situation.
Wait, so hold on. So let's say
if it's me and you, he'll stay alive.
So
if I was with you, I would definitely.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Definitely kill myself and stay alive. No. Don't clip this out of context. Don't do it. I did that already yesterday. No.
Yeah,
I really think I'm seeing the movies and I'm like, how can people live like on their own with like 2 or 3 strangers? Everyone around them died. You're struggling to keep alive while you're probably going extinct too, because it's like a select few against like the entire world, like almost who's a zombie.
So, do you know what? I've thought about this many times.
I thought about this too, so I'm good.
For me, I would, because I watch 28 Days Later, for example.
Yeah.
And the guy's like in a farmhouse and then he jumps out the window or whatever and his wife he watches like his wife gets bitten in like was that 28 weeks later or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
I watch and I'm like, why the hell are you still in the UK? It's so populated. Why are you still in the UK? For me, I would get on a boat, don't care how long it would take me. I would like go all the way to the Cook Islands. I like how I'm being blasé. I've thought about this. I would go to the Cook Islands, which is not very well populated, and there's only a couple thousand people. It'd be a lot easier.
Everybody there.
No, but the like the Cook Islands got like like 100 different islands, which some are very populated and some of them are very sparsely populated. And for me, that's where I would go because one, it's tropical, so I could grow plants and seeds and whatnot. So I'd obviously try and go before leaving to a garden center or whatever, grab seeds so that when I get there, I can then grow my own plants. Obviously, I can fish and stuff like that. But that's what I would do. I would go somewhere which is got almost no population and just...
There's one flaw in your whole plan.
Petrol.
If the zombie outbreak happens and you're going on a boat, are you going alone on that boat?
Ideally not. Obviously, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you have the situations a lot in, like, the movies or the series where they go on, like, a boat where they think it's safe, one gets bitten, bites two others, and then it's Titanic all over again. You know what I mean? They all die.
Yeah, so I know what you mean. Obviously...
So I would honestly go with, like, a couple of people that I know I can trust.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Maybe send out an emergency message, like,
I wouldn't go with strangers.
Maybe to you guys or to my friends, like, let's meet there.
Yeah.
If you're safe, meet there. If not, get rid of it. Get rid of yourself. Like, you know what I mean? So we can all meet in, like, a week. If you're not there in a week, I'm sorry. It is what it is. Glad to have met you. Bye. And otherwise, we obviously know each other for, like, a longer time. So I know I could, like, not get into a fight with people, or we do not steal each other's food. So it's company that's really good. We are not... I think I wouldn't be greedy if there's something like that happening. So, like, if we all have, like, a boat and let's meet in 7 days around that island or on that island, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And then we would live, like, the idyllic life on an island. I thought about that too. My first idea was, like, going to the Arctic. Because it's not populated at all. And I can adapt really quick.
It's cold.
People adapt.
Yeah, but you don't have any electricity up there.
Doesn't matter.
If there's a zombie apocalypse. So
do you really have electricity on like an island?
I would rather.
Right, but if it's warmer, you won't need electricity.
Yeah, well, you know, my point is, if you went to, you know, my idea was obviously if you went to, like, the Cook Islands, you would go and try and take over, like, a resort or something, you know, an island which has got, like, a resort on or whatever. Take that over because, you know, if there are zombies there, it's only going to be 100. Obviously, got to try and raid, like, a army barracks or whatever beforehand. I don't quite know, you know, completely depend in the moment, like, how you manage to do it. But obviously I would intend to get some weapons, find a place which is got hopefully no zombies, but if it does have zombies, it's only got like 100, because then at least if it's me and hopefully a handful of people, let's say 10, we can fight them off. And then once they're fought off, well, hopefully the zombies don't know how to fly a plane or pilot a boat or whatever.
Yeah. I agree with you. Wouldn't you, like, send out an emergency beacon that you're going there to, like, the people you talk to a lot, or?
Yeah. Like, no. So beforehand, I would send out a message.
Yeah.
I would only send a message then once I'm there to, if anyone's alive, please contact me on.
But would you like? I was thinking about that too.
01555 Pornhub OnlyFans.
But would you, like, send a specific message, like, I'm on that island, to people you care about?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
People you can maybe use in, like, some stuff. Because
before
obviously there's people you don't really like, but you need them because they have a specific set of skills.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Obviously it's all depending on situations in there. If you have, like, I live in an apartment building. If it's like a zombie outbreak, I would definitely freaking die before I go downstairs. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if I could make it, I would send, like, a beacon out or something, like a message like, I'm going to these coordinates, because you'll thrive on, like, coordinates then, because you can use your phone, you can use anything. Your Google Maps isn't working for more than 6 hours because your battery is dead. So you're working on, like, a GPS or, like, your
Depends, because obviously electricity and whatnot's not out, so you can take
Right, it is.
What?
The people who work at an electricity company.
Yeah.
If they get turned, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but it will for a certain period of time, and also if you had like the mobile charging packs, you'd be able to last a little while.
But does the service work? Oh fucks. Does the service work because people at the internet companies are dead?
I can tell you yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. It would run until at a point where a certain like network part fails, but sometimes that's like 5 years.
That's cool. So I don't know if you guys ever watched The Strain. It was like a TBS show or TNT show. It was a zombie show, but it was like showing it how it started, where it was like, where that's the one thing I don't like about The Walking Dead was it kind of just, he wakes up and he's in the middle of it. Like it already started, things already happened. What I liked about The Strain and what I kind of feel like is what would end up happening is that it started with one person, kind of like Corona did, and then it infected like a couple people, and it was not like zombies everywhere.
Yeah,
it's
not
like
instant. It takes.
They came after you. Yeah, like
it takes
a little
time.
bit at a time. And so, if that is the case, do you think that it would even survive long term? Like, if people are noticing, do you think that people would just keep going? Like,
yes. Yeah, because certain people, none of us are stupid and will go, my daughter's been bitten, but I'm going to still hold on to her and take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then, they're too sentimental. That's exactly the problem. There's too many snowflakes in this goddamn world. Sorry, I said it.
It's nice that you're sentimental now, but if it's like a life or death situation, I could 100% make that switch too.
And that
100%.
You would have to.
That goes back to what I was originally saying was, when I've spoken to some people and they've gone, oh, if my mum was bitten, I couldn't kill them. And I'm like, so if you're in the same room, locked in the same room, and you had the opportunity to kill them or not kill them, and you know they're turning, would you shoot them? And they go, no. And I'm like,
it's the same as I made a pact with my mom. If something happens to me and I'm being like a plant, I'm sitting there around the corner.
Get rid of me.
I already written it down, and she did too. She was like, what do you want? I was like, kill me, please, because it's giving you more heartache. And for me, I don't notice because I'm not myself.
Right,
yep.
Right.
Like if I'm fully with my mind, but in a wheelchair, obviously I would be alive. But if my brain doesn't function anymore normally, please pull the plug.
Yep.
Because I'm never going to get the same way as you remember me. So please remember me with joy the way you see me now, instead of like having to take care of me and not getting anything nice in return but the old memories that were good of me. Right. You know what I mean? Just please do it. I won't notice that I am getting killed. And for her, it's better. And then she was like, yeah, for me the same, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, of course I'll do that. It's the same as like a zombie apocalypse situation. If I'm like if it's life or death, if she gets bitten, I would be like, yeah, Mom, this is hard. I really love you. But I have to do this, otherwise we'll both die. And then she'll be like, I would be like too, like, please do it. I couldn't do it myself maybe, but please do it for me.
I would be like,
I couldn't do it.
If it was, you know what I mean? If it was the way around of like, I had to potentially kill my mum, I'd be like, remember that time you stole my fry whilst I was having a burger? Well, bitch. Boom.
Remember the time where we were driving and I said I wanted to go to McDonald's, but you drove straight past to a home? Bitch, this is your moment now.
Yeah. Cassie, remember this with Luca and Mia.
Yeah. They're going to do it every time when they ask for McDonald's.
Especially Mia.
Especially Mia. She will be the first one to murder me.
Yeah.
She'll be like, bye, Mom. Like, not even I love you. Just see ya. Oh, my God.
Mummy, you infected? Nope. Boom.
Dad, she was. She got bit. I don't know where, but... Oh, my God.
Right, well, I think that's a decent place to end this podcast.
Yeah, murder.
It's always awesome how we're going from like bringing like woolly mammoths alive to like a fully outbreak on zombie apocalypse. And if you would kill your mom or not. I don't know how we keep doing it. I have a question of the week.
Oh, there we go. I forgot about these.
What would you do if you're in a zombie apocalypse situation?
Yep. That's a good shot.
And my second question is, do you really think it will stick with only the woolly mammoths, or is it going to evolve into something else? Like, basically, Jurassic World 3.0, yes or no?
4.0, probably.
Huh? That rhymes, huh?
3.0.
Let us know.
69.0 Jurassic Park only fans.
Jurassic Park. 69 T-Rexes.
Pictures of Velociraptor's feet. Oh yeah. Anyway.
You mean the pterodactyl?
Yeah.
Pterodactyl? Who says that?
Remember Mia said that?
Yeah.
Pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Pterodactyl. Yeah.
It's a great place to stop.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and for watching. And we will catch you next week, 6 p.m. GMT. Fox? What time?
6 p.m. GST. I'm not sure.
7 p.m. CST.
1 p.m. EST.
Well done. Let's go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.